As Time Goes by Caitlin Labalestia of Gaimea, 2227. Narrated by Janine Penfold. It all began on a train. I'm heading north to visit my grandchildren for the holidays. The sun is streaming through the carriage window, and the movement of the train has me dozing and soon recalling memories of my past. My memories and recollections are of how I experienced life as a child, young adult, and now as I grow into my senior years. Life continues to be impacted not only by social and technological change, but by shifts in how I saw things and how I feel and see things now. Feelings, experiences, and consequences have shaped my everyday life, along with changes thanks to social progress, evolution, and technological advancements. The world I knew as a child is so vastly different in many ways to the one I and my children and grandchildren live in today. A quiet and reserved only child. The childhood I remember is one filled with simple joys and infinite possibilities. One filled with curiosity, innocence, and unfiltered emotions. One where I trusted and believed without hesitation. An only child, I desperately wanted a sibling. Someone told me babies lived in the flowers of lily pads. Every second house in my street had a lily pond in the front. And yes, I popped every lily pad I could find, but was devastated and very upset that I did not find that baby brother or sister. There were some very angry and confused neighbours. I cannot imagine the children of today believing this. Children today seem to be much more informed about life in general. I know my grandchildren are. The lesson of the lily pads taught me to think twice and to question everything. Maybe this experience contributed to me becoming that introverted young person. Over time, I gained wisdom and resilience with shifts in mindset, beliefs, and by experiencing emotional maturity, the once timid little girl gained confidence. I recently read an article. The passage of time acts as both teacher and test, challenging us to evolve while honouring the roots of who we once were. How true. Reflecting on my past is enlightening, and I smile, thinking how far I have come personally. My thoughts then turn to how many changes there have been, the many nows and thens through my lifetime. The phrase, "Remember back when?" comes to mind when visiting museums. I'd often laugh and say, I had one of those, and still do. Thankfully, some things don't change. My thoughts drift to everyday practical things. It seems not long ago I'd go with my dad to the local iceworks for a large block of ice to go in the top of our tiny fridge to keep everything cool for a week. I think about the fridges my children have now. Huge ones that have massive freezers, make ice and cold water, and even tell you what you've run out of. Thinking back, having a fridge run on electricity would have been amazing. And washing machines. Fortunately, ours ran on electricity, only to slosh the clothes around. It did not spin the water out of the clothes. A piece of stick called a dolly was used to lift out the clothes and manually put them through a wringer turned by hand. It was hard work for Mum. How lucky I am now to just pop my clothes in my machine, press a button, and in 40 minutes I hang them on the line using the free wind and solar power of the past. Or put them in the clothes dryer at a hefty price now. Vacuuming was a chore, using a heavy barrel thing that Mum dragged around to suck up the dust. From memory, it made more dust than it picked up. I pushed a small boxy thing with brushes on rollers attached to a long pole. It had to be emptied every 5 minutes. I smile, thinking of my modern vacuum cleaner today. Back then, housework was hard work, definitely a housewife's daily exercise. Now housework is often outsourced, and many a housewife keeps fit going to the gym. How times change. My memories and reflections are in full flight. How could I forget about the toilet? Growing up, ours was outside at the back of the garage, and it certainly did not flush. It was a large tin can set in a shelf with a lid. You had to take a candle with you, or a torch if you were lucky, to see if there were any redback spiders lurking under the seat. The full can was replaced every week by the dunny man with an empty one. Thankfully, that job is long gone. Toilet paper as I know it today was unheard of. Dad cut up the local newspaper and the old Yellow Pages phone directory. Remember those? Punched a hole in the corner, tied it with a piece of string and hung it on a nail. We thought nothing of it then. Toilets of today are a very welcome change. I told my grandchildren this story, and there were lots of horrified squeals and eye rolls about how gross it was. How could you not have a toilet or 3 inside the house and with real toilet paper? Definitely a welcome change in such a short time. Lyrics and tunes from back then start swirling in my head. How I wish for those songs again so I can sing along to them. I definitely struggle to understand today's lyrics. Nostalgia is a powerful emotion, a reflection of my time, my past tied to the present. It lets me revisit moments, remember, and feel them again before I re-emerge into and embrace the opportunities of now. Suddenly, my mobile phone rings, startling me awake. What is that noise? My train is pulling into the station, and I see my grandchildren waving to me. They must have known Nana was napping. Certainly, a train journey to remember. The end.